Hello? It's me. Wow. How cool. Look at this. This. Wait, give me one sec. Look at this. Wow. We might as well open up both screens. Actually, you can't see anything that's on my top screen. Instead, you can see that I'm looking at the millennium problems for math. I'm very bad at pure numbers, so I am not qualified to even talk about mathematics problems. I think they're interesting though. You know, the P versus NP problem. One of these problems has already been solved. I forget. Unsolved. Actually, most of these, a lot of these have been solved, right? The Poincare conjecture, solved by some Russian dude who didn't even want the prize in the first place. I think he was working as a mechanic. Oh, look, my bot works. How fancy. Get out of here, Reddit. Oh, no. Get out of here, Marie Kondo. All right. So let's get started. What you were looking at, by the way, was the OpenCFace build scripts. So this is some build automation. It's very painful. It does work though. So now this allows me to further automate my own builds. So once this is automated, then that means that I can start pulling these releases or something, or at least like triggering a build and then triggering another build based off the results of that build. It's all kinds of messed up. But you can get into some kind of fancy automation with this, which is the plan. Maybe. We'll think about it. At the very least, it makes it so executing or packing all this what's the word I'm looking for? Building OpenCFace to bundle with VPupper should be really easy. That's the plan. Oh, hello. Nero? Question mark? This is Nero? Right? I'm struggling to recall. That sounds about right to me. Hey, it's Nero. He's done it. I mean, if I was wrong, you could still say that it was right and I wouldn't really know. But that sounds about right to me. But yeah, check this out. How cool. True collaboration with the author. Amelia actually giving me actionable feedback, which is nice. It's been a long time since that's ever happened. It's beautiful. Resulting binaries. If you want to try this out, this is the latest iteration. It only took me like 18 tries to get something that works. But it's beautiful. But that's neither here nor there. Sure, I was the test runner. Yeah. You pretty much were, yeah. I mean, it's tough, right? Because I don't daily drive any Linux distribution. Because I don't usually use a graphical Linux distribution anyways. So anything that requires a display server is kind of tough for me. So I do have a Pop! OS box just off to my left, but I don't usually keep it updated. It's kind of a pain. It does have my fancy keyboard attached to it though, so maybe I should use it more. Yeah, right now what I'm working on is hold on. It's this thing, the remote control server. So I still need to figure out how I want to do this. So for now, I think this is fine because this is just the GUI. But then clicking start will cause things to break, and I don't want to cause any instability on stream because this will fire up a new thread, and I'm not sure if Godot will process it properly. But here, UI looks standard to the rest of the app. Yeah, well, I think that's the plan, right? Is that everything should look extremely standardized at this point, because now every single UI just looks like, oh, is this actually just the GUI? It is just the GUI all by itself. Okay, yeah. I have an idea for how to allow for the graphical GUIs like I'm doing with, I guess, the rest of the app. So like with, oh, I guess Bones doesn't even look correct. All right, bad example. Model, yes. So how model looks. Model will be looking like this. Unfortunately, when you're doing runtime loading, you can't use these out of the box, but I have an idea for how to make that work. I just gotta think about it. Just gotta think about it. But yeah, soon I'll add the ability for graphical GUI stuff, but for now everything is just done via code, which is fine with me. If you're used to doing like tkinter stuff in Python, it's about the same. But it goes from this to looking like, this is the model view, to looking like this. So it starts out really ugly, and then we just kind of do a little bit of magic to make it look standard. Yeah. Anyways, to do, I don't know what this to do was for. Was I supposed to connect this to something? To do, oh. Wait. No. Yes. Hold on. Server selector. I think it's none of these are connected. Yeah. That's right. So we'll do to do connect data elements to config manager. My buddy uses tkinter, might be ask him later. Yeah, well, I mean, it's the way you set things up is similar to, sort of similar to how tkinter works. And I guess the only similarity is that we're generating a UI via code. So that's the really the only similarity. I think tkinter has some other special things. So it has some fancy construction, some fancy constructor options. Whereas Godot has none of that, unless I define my own constructors, which I'm not. Yeah, but that was not a cry for help. By the way, just in case that wasn't clear. Yeah. The unfortunate part about GDScript and Python is that experience with Python libraries does not translate over to GDScript. I think GDScript is closer to, I don't even know, like TCL maybe, in how it loads libraries. I've never written any TCL, so that might be like completely false. I do know that TCL is a fairly common configuration language. Like, I think TCL is Turing complete as well. Yeah. So remove all of these. Remove all of these. Remove all of these. Remove all of these. And remove all of these. Okay. So now I have space to think. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure The only difference between any of these, so we were passing a listener type. I don't like how this works, honestly. Because this is kind of gross, right? So we create a new one of these, a new handler script. I suppose I should actually do it like this, handler script, because I'm using it like a class. So that looks weird with syntax highlighting, but I swear it's okay. Then here, listener type, this part is gross because then I have to duplicate the listener type across both things, which feels bad. But res unwrap port, But there's not really a great way of doing that either, I think. Maybe it is possible? I don't know. Because you can't use static classes. Maybe. Yeah, no, you can't use static classes at runtime. Maybe you just need to load them once and then unload them, and then you can use static classes. Because I know in C# this would be pretty easy, but actually maybe not. Because C# you cannot, well, you can kind of dynamically load code, but that's also kind of a hack in C#. Okay, let me think. What I want to do is share these listener types between these two things, but the best I've got is just duplicating it, right? Because the idea is this also will not be included by default. Well, maybe I could include it by default. I'm still thinking about it. Writing a bunch of HTML and empty file because if it works. It does work. That's one of the beauties of Markdown. Is that Markdown is basically just fancy HTML. Or I guess easy HTML. And then you can dive into HTML if you want. Which is cool. Alright, so REST. Yeah, REST server is not yet implemented. We're getting around to it. UDP. Let's actually comment this part out. So to do add back in when REST server functionality is present. Yeah, okay. And then we'll just error out otherwise. Yeah, okay, so here and here is where this stuff gets difficult. So I was actually trying to decide today whether or not I wanted to work on VTuber or work on this other random thing. I've had it bouncing around in my head. Let's go to, oh, don't actually show my Twitter stuff on the stream. My Twitter feed's a bit degenerate. But this thing, yeah. So I got pinged about this potential future project, which is just a way to you receive VMC data, you can store VMC data, and then you can play back VMC data. Isn't, yeah, that's true. That's true. Mine's a little more degenerate than your average person, but maybe, I guess if you're already watching me, your Twitter feed might be as degenerate or more so. It's 100% something I would not scroll through though on like a public transit or in the office. It's actually been roughly 2 years since I've been to the office, my company's office actually. But yeah, this is a thing to receive VMC data, store VMC data, and play back VMC data. And then I was looking into doing this in Rust, not Godot, mostly because I don't know, I just wanted to see if I could do it. I was looking into Dioxys, which is kind of cool. It's almost completely unrelated to this project, but it's like, it's Electron, but written in Rust and not using Electron. But it does use web views, so it renders using like HTML style syntax, well, React style syntax, which is really, really cool. All right, would like to go to here and then close this. So better Electron. I don't have Twitter yet. Yeah, Twitter is kind of a cesspool, but it's where everyone is. So, and it has evolved into like many like subcultures, which is weird. So there's like Genshin Twitter, which sucks. Like Korean K-pop's Twitter, which sucks. Pretty much any like subculture, like political Twitter, just stay away from in general. But yeah, check this out. Just to get super distracted. So I'm calling it OSC Hub. It doesn't actually work right now anyways, so I don't even know why I'm showing this off. Because I was just running through the tutorial and then planning it out. But cargo, run, release. So we'll just build really quickly. Actually, why am I even building for release? I've always done this in debug mode. But this is what it looks like, right? So this is, it's very React style, right? So you can see here's like a React component. So you have a div, you have another div, you have some sort of props that you can access, which is via this thing. Here you have some sort of title, and it takes properties, title card props. It is beautiful. You have a bunch of other garbage as well, so you can pass in arbitrary variables, you can copy them. You can iterate through a list and generate list elements. So it's all very React style, which I thought was really cool. I'm doing with Hugo, yeah. I think the benefit of using Dioxys is that like if you don't need graphics, which I do, right? If you don't need graphics, you just need a UI. So this is what the UI looks like. You can kind of gather from here and here what it's supposed to be doing. So you have your div, hello world. I don't really know how this works. Oh, you know what? This is using the Windows. This is what it looks like when you go to Edge. That's cool. Yeah. So you div, then you have your unordered list, and then your list items, and then Jib. Yeah, not Jib. Jim, Bob, and Jane. You have your vote button, which I've defined up here, and then you have my Hello Dioxys thing, which is here. But this is all pretty much the tutorial anyways. So I'm just getting into the interactivity part. But once I figure that out, I'll be unstoppable. And then I can start implementing the thing I was showing off before, which is playing back VMC data. I'll build websites for Edge. Well, I mean, as long as your website works on Chrome, it should be compatible with every other browser out there except for Safari, because Safari's dumb. Or in like maybe like Conqueror or something. Whatever those really old ones are that no one uses, but they're like super specific to Linux. But yeah. The point was not that it runs via Edge. It means that it's using your system's native web view implementation. So I know on Windows it uses Edge, or Windows Web View UI, which is what Edge uses. I don't know what Mac OS or Linux uses. I think Linux tries to use GTK whatever. Otherwise it just breaks. Still running strong content strip mode? Yeah. Well, lots of places use Internet Explorer. I think lots of places are actually just now standardizing to Chrome, which kind of sucks. Because Chrome is actually fairly heavy. But let me see. But yeah, that's the idea, is that it uses your, basically what Electron does, right, is it bundles Chrome along with your application. Whereas what I was just showing off just uses whatever's pre-installed on your system. So it's a lot easier to maintain. Like it does the Linux thing of just using all shared libraries, basically. So it's always up to date. Chrome, Discord, and Spotify, yeah. That's why I only use the web version of Chrome or Discord. I do have Spotify, but I only open it when I need it, so you can actually see Spotify's here on my sidebar. Alright, but start server, blah blah. Node, and we just add this to your root, which is kind of messy, but it'll work as long as you clean it up afterwards, or clean up after it afterwards. And I think let's add a note to myself. I need structural checks, or I guess integrity checks. Integrity checks when returning to the home screen. So I think check for nodes that have not been cleaned up. So e.g. so get tree root add child. And then also, what other integrity checks? I guess check temp cache manager for bad keys, question mark. And then I guess also, well, I think on startup, I also need some integrity checks. Think about it. I think there's a lot of things, but this is something the application definitely needs. Let me actually add an issue about it, integrity checks. So there's two types of integrity checks needed. I think remove Python path from config. Who thumbs this up? Oro, okay. I'll assign myself. Good first issue, enhancement. Or it's not really an enhancement, it's a bug. New issue. Integrity checks, and then there's actually two things that need to be done. So we have node integrity checks and returning to the home screen. Temp cache manager checks. So basically, when home screen, so we need node integrity checks, temp cache manager checks, and then what is it? Application startup. I think config file checks, and then folder structure, or I guess extension data checks. So I guess this is an enhancement, but it's also that's fine. Why not? Submit it against my own project. So this one is actually related to this one. So node integrity checks. So whenever we add a new server handler, we need the check to see that one, the node has been cleaned up properly, and two, the actual key was cleaned up properly. I'll think about how I want to do that. Let's see. Makes sense? It does. Yeah. It does make sense. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. Appreciate it. Sometimes I'll say something, or I'll go down a line of thought, and then somewhere like halfway through, I'll just get confused and then forget what I was originally trying to think about. And so like, you know, from point A to point B no longer makes any sense. Now it's like from point A to point 52. And it's like, I don't really see how like these two things are related. And it's like, oh, you know what? You're totally right. Turns out I am a crazy person. You know, once again, short attention span bites me in the butt. So let's see, where is my, okay, there is the super cleanup. So we'll go back to this commit and then I'll start browsing the files again. So I'm actually going to copy my own code from this remote control thingy. So this remote control thingy does all of this stuff. So we do all the loading here, and then this script should be fine. Yeah, so there's your server. Oh wait, these are servers. Yeah, so UDP, and then here's the WebSocket server. So we can look at these things. Get out of here. So we'll do the WebSocket one first because this is the one I'm most familiar with. So this has all of these already implemented, and it passes along a logger, which is neat, I guess. Actually, hold on. Is this passing along a logger? So this inits with a logger, which seems wrong. Yeah, this is wrong. Okay. So this is the handler script. This is the resource unwrap. And then here, from server is server new, and then we need to pass in the logger. Server new logger. Okay, there we go. This would actually be a lot easier if I was doing this in a more structured language. Crazy, just programmer. I am crazy. Like in the Gnarls Barkley way. Hold on. I had the lyrics in my head, but as soon as I started taking a breath, I was like, wait a minute. All I can remember is, you make me crazy. Me crazy. And that's it. So here, all of these client close requests. We'll do WebSocket first. Close request, get peer ID close. Yep, that makes sense. On client connected, known clients append. I don't know if I should be doing that. I don't know. It doesn't seem right. But then we just run all this stuff on a thread anyways. Yeah. So set up server. That's fine. There is your server. Then we'll just pull. Okay. And then we can actually, gotta sneeze. Ugh, maybe not. I guess we just need the poll here. And then we can also pass in, because I have this defined. So I need to pass in the poll interval. And then the port line interval, and of course you'll always be broadcasting on the local host port, like in the DSM-5. What's DSM-5? Is this a Ligma? Have I been dragma'd again? So this is the, okay. So there's the poll interval. So we should actually do listener type, server ports, and then poll interval p. So parameter poll interval, some sort of float, which means that this is now wrong. Let's call it 0.1 for now. So to do hard-coded poll interval. It's the official way to diagnose if someone is mentally ill. What's DSM-5? DSM-5. Is this something? Oh, okay. Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorders. Okay. Sure. Interesting. Interesting. Guess I'll lock that away in the old brain, just in case I have to answer more random trivia in the future. Not very common nowadays. I don't usually go to trivia nights anymore. I actually hardly ever went to trivia nights because my knowledge is so lopsided. Like common trivia questions, I'm actually not great at. Unfortunately. But I feel like I've mentioned this on stream anyways. Alright, here, this is some sort of node, and then we can do... So this does run in a... actually, does this run in a thread? This does run in a thread, okay. Oh, and actually, I guess this is just Splunk perform reception? Because I think all of these need to pull. Yeah. While not, stop, server, pull. So all of these need to pull, that's fine. And then we'll do... Actually, how do I delay? So this is get tree. I guess like I've been doing this as well. Get tree, create timer. So that's fine. Get tree. We shouldn't be doing a get tree. What I should be doing is scene tree. So here we can do scene tree. I can guarantee that this will always be available because we don't instantiate this on program creation. Oh, but no, this needs to be done on ready. Oh, I see. I see. So these do need to be done in the init function because I need to pass these as parameters, but I can only get the scene tree like this. So the scene tree is equal to get tree, and then this will actually break. Oh, good. I guess this is fine. We don't actually need to do this, right? We can do... What am I doing? Then scene tree is equal to engine get engine get main loop. Yeah. Which is the scene tree. Yes. Then here, we'll do pull interval is equal to parameter pull interval, because GDScript doesn't like it when you shadow things. All right, there's your scene tree. And then here, for pretty much all of these, we can just do scene tree, or I yield scene tree, create timer. And this creates a scene tree timer for pull interval, timeout, something like that. So then we can just start the thread pretty much all the same ways, right? Yeah. I think my laundry is done, so I'll be right back. BRB. dryer totally lied to me. So that's good. I don't know. I feel like it's on like a 2-cycle kind of thing, but I'm not sure what the cycles are. So it'll beep. It'll give like a I'm finished beep, and then 30 minutes later, just kind of click to indicate that it's done. It's like, why are you beeping? There's no reason to beep. If I don't need to do anything, why beep? But it's also like a reasonably modern dryer. Like it's the same model of dryer that I actually used when I was still in school. So it's not like my other places that I've lived in that had like the really crappy apartment style, you know, combination washer dryer, right? Like these are 2 separate units. They're big boy units. Okay. So this should be fine, which means I don't need these anymore. We'll just use perform reception because they will both work more or less the same way, question mark. Maybe they won't, and then I actually need to do this for every single one of them. How did I do the TCP stuff? HTTP utils, or util. So there's the HTTP server. So server, this is probably what I'm going to be using, or at least a simplified version of this. So on listen, it's very complicated, by the way. Or is timer, 8-mile dryer. Timer plus 10 minutes. Oh, are they? I don't know. I always just put it on. Was it heavy duty for both? I don't know. Most washers and dryers, I've always just used the presets. I never type in the time manually. Like honestly, that's one of the things that like I feel like some people do it manually, but I just don't understand how that works. Maybe that makes me weird. Like weird in the same way that I've never had to take a taxi before. Like I've taken Ubers and stuff, but like I've just never taken a taxi. I've never had to hail a taxi. I've been in a taxi before, but someone else called it for me. It also paid for it for me. That was my dad. I wasn't like too drunk to move. Or in the same way, I've never had to like write a check before either. Even though I've lived in, you know, like an apartment before. Like that's another thing that like freaks people out. It's like, oh, like you're a millennial, but you've never needed to write a check. And I was like, yeah, like I have a checkbook, but I've never had to use it because everyone always, you know, everyone uses like Venmo or like just does a direct bank transfer, which has led some people to say like, oh, you're a fake millennial. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like I've used a floppy disk before, so I think that that does make me a millennial. You got to know the router they rip you. Yeah. Didn't they stop doing that? Now they just do it based off like, well, yeah, that's true. It is based off of distance traveled, right? Not time taken. You transfer so much easier than Venmo or checks. You still use floppy disks? That's crazy. So, also, I'm looking at this, by the way. I'm not just like staring at this for no reason. I'm trying to think. Where do we emit data? Government job? You know what? That makes a lot of sense, actually. That makes a lot of sense. All right. Here we go. So we can do known clients. Known clients. You know, I was actually talking to some people somewhat recently. So, I mean, I'm an American, right? But apparently, I had a recruiter reach out to me with a job offer I should have taken, or at least pursued, right? Because it was with the U.S. Federal Reserve, which is actually not a federal institution, contrary to the name. But apparently that's one of the like absolute cushiest jobs you could get if you want job security. Because it's one of those things like the Fed actually controls the entire money supply of the United States. And they also get like, it's a government job, but it's not actually a government job, which makes it extra cushy. I was like, oh man, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I wish someone had like at least mentioned it. Because in my head, I was like, yeah, the Fed, I don't want to work for the government. But I was like, oh wait, now that you mention it, you know what? I did learn that in school. In like intro to economics, the Fed isn't actually a federal institution in the U.S. But it's still treated like a federal institution, which makes it beautiful. So you have like none of the accountability, but all of the benefits. So I could probably still reach out to them, but then it'd be weird. Client connected, and then we'll do known clients, append ID. There we go. Client close request, and then we should actually remove it from the thing. So known clients erase ID. So if not known clients has ID, then we'll do logger error. Unknown client tried to disconnect. I want to note Canadian here. Yeah, isn't there I swear we had to study this in school, even though like I'm not Canadian. Doesn't Canada have a equivalent of the Federal Reserve in Canada? I don't remember. Because Canada, I'm pretty sure Canada does not base itself off of the U.S. Federal Reserve. They have their own Federal Reserve, which does tag its currency against U.S. currency a little bit. If only because you'd be crazy not to tag any currency off the U.S. dollar. Sorry, Canada. And also, like, pretty much any other country in the world. Although the euro has been making good progress. Although I think for the first time in a long time, the euro actually slid below the US dollar in exchange rate, right? Or I guess above the US dollar. So one US dollar is actually worth more than 1 euro now. It used to be the other way around. But yeah. So yeah, there's some economics in there. I don't really do that kind of stuff anymore. I find it too boring. It should stop thread. Something doesn't look right here. What the heck is this? I keep looking at this variable. What the heck is this doing? Oh, okay. Okay. So this is shut down. So when you try to shut down, you do need to do a clean close on all clients. Otherwise, you're breaking a few rules, but it would still be valid. I don't know. 1-to-1 ratio of USD to euro. Is it 1-to-1 now? Did it finally go back up to 1-to-1? Because I know the euro's taken quite a hit, you know, talking about geopolitics ever since Russia stopped petroleum exports to Germany, where Germany was pretty much Germany and France are the biggest players in the EU. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, it's not quite 1-to-1. It's been close to 1-to-1 for a while, where actually the euro was actually stronger than the dollar. But I remember seeing some news this past week, or I guess last week, where the euro slid. So €1 was worth less than $1, which means the euro is weaker because of that. Should abort. This looks very complicated, by the way, which is why I'm kind of thinking maybe I just won't use this. Maybe I could just do on client disconnected. Well, I mean, there's nothing I need to do here, right? And then after this is just all data receive stuff. Yeah. And then when we need to shut down, we'll just shut down. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. And then we'll just have to make sure we define a shutdown function. We don't really need a start function because these will just start by themselves. Yeah. Maybe? Yeah, so there's no such thing as a start. This starts by itself. There's only the stop function, and then the stop function will call shutdown on whatever the server is. Server shutdown. Falling long before that, yeah. Euro is 1 cent less than USD, yeah. Yeah, it's been falling for sure. But pre-pandemic, it was actually stronger than the dollar. But depending on who you talk to, some things about the euro have been kind of sketchy for a while. Right? Because the euro is based off of the idea that everyone's being truthful about their economic whatevers. But then ever since it came out that there are several EU members who have been lying about their economic stability, cough, cough, Greece, that's caused the euro to slide below the dollar. Something like that. Yeah. The Canadian dollar is somewhat tagged to the US dollar because of NAFTA, but I forget if NAFTA is still a thing. But when NAFTA was a thing, it was more strongly tagged to it. Because it means that the economic zone is the same, more or less. And then after that, then it's just political stability. In which case, I think Canada is actually pretty politically stable. US, less politically stable nowadays. Mexico, absolutely not. I would not consider Mexico to be politically stable in any context. All right, so we'll do for client in known clients. And then we'll just send shutdown requests. The problem is the US keeps trying to suppress Canada's export economy. Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like a US thing to do. I feel like I remember talking or being taught about that. Here, client. Continue. WebSockets peer. Get peer. Yeah, but any more about the economy, I can't really talk about it. Geopolitics, not my field of expertise, shall we say. Why is this wrong? Oh, because we don't have a server. We are the server. So then, yeah, all I know is, you know, number go up better, more or less. So code 1000, and then this is, we'll just call it server shutting down. This doesn't actually need to be translated. I mean, we could. I'm not going to translate it. You know what? We'll translate it. We'll translate it. So we'll call it remote control server shutting down. Made a readme for your Git profile. Do you want me to look at it on stream and react in real time? Oh baby, React content. God, am I the only one that hates React content, or is like React content a thing that's like a Zoomer only kind of thing? Oh, look at that. Up to you. Well, we're looking at it. St. John's, Newfoundland. AOL. I like how you added Hugo to it. Pretty good. I don't watch it unless it's TikTok. Honestly, the only React content I watch is I'll watch people eating food. maybe that's my only Zoomer trait. I like to watch the food videos. Mostly because YouTube keeps feeding them to me and I keep clicking on it. Nice profile, by the way, Uwu. Notices your profile. Oh, hello, that pixel. Hello, second no. It's not just a Zoomer thing. People of all ages do it. Just depends on the content itself. Are you telling me that like middle-aged men will click on React content and oh, is that the people that are those the people that keep clicking on the like that? Oh, is that a super? That's a super. I've clicked on those before, like that, like the mechanics videos, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Like, do I know cars? I know enough to be able to identify a ricer, muscle, and imports, and that's about it. Because I had some friends that were into car stuff, but I don't know. I hate driving. I'm very good at driving, as in like I've driven. How old am I? I've driven for 10 years and never been in an accident. Used to drive like I guess it's normally a 2.5 hour drive if you're driving at the speed limit, but I always made it in like 45 minutes. Like twice a week for like 2 years. Never been in an accident, only been ticketed once. And that's because the cop got me in like the middle of the night from like 4 miles out. Yeah, lucky? I don't know. I like to think I also plan my routes and the times that I drive like pretty well. But there is an element of luck in there for sure. Right? Because I always drive when there's almost no cars on the road. Or if there are cars on the road, I will either speed up or slow down so I'm not driving next to anybody. Hold on. So we pure close. And is that really it? I don't do anything? What the heck? Alright, sure. Var retries. I mean, this logic looks correct enough. Do a cannonball run on a longboard to the university. Longboard? Oh, you're talking about like a like a longboard. I was like, wait a minute, what, a cannonball run? You talking about like you surf to university? What? But no, okay, no, I got you. Cannonball run, straight shot on a wheeled longboard to university. That makes more sense. I was like, wait a minute, you don't surf to university, do you? That would be pretty wild. Known clients, size. Client disconnects, what the heck? Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Client disconnects, and then we can clients to disconnect is equal to known client's size. And then if this is equal to clients to disconnect, then we'll do logger info all clients successfully disconnected. Breakout. Beautiful. If retries is equal to, I guess this is something I actually need to define. Where are you the developer of VPupper? I am the developer of VPupper, yes. He just likes duck. Should I be putting that in the description? I don't know. Maybe I should be doing that. Maybe it's big enough it's actually warranted to put the VPupper thing in the stream title. But no, this is also why development is so slow. It's because I only really work on it on stream, which means I only put in like 12 hours, maybe 15 hours max per week. Max. Shut down, retry. Trying to promote VPupper on TikTok. Okay, Zoomer. I don't do TikTok anymore. I've acknowledged that TikTok like talks to my psyche on like on a fundamental level, and thus I must not interact with it. Otherwise, I will just lose all my time to TikTok. Yeah, my attention span is already poor enough as is. I don't need something to directly exploit my attention span. But yeah, that pixel, if you are interested in VPupper, you might be interested to see that, hold on, does this compile? Or not compile, but does this parse correctly? So check this out. In a future release, you'll be able to do, oh, my laundry's done. But anyways, check this out. Wow, look at that. So if you don't even want to do any webcam stuff, I believe this is the first application of its type to do this. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. And then it will also work. Like I don't really have a way to show you this and also move my mouse off screen. Or I guess show you this at this. Oh, maybe I do. So if I click on, if I close this, click off. Look at that. It's not even focused anymore. I guess I can click on this. I'll click on this. Look at this. Wow. It's following my mouse around. So, I don't know how useful that'll be, but it is a mouse logger, of course. So this is not going to be included in regular releases of VPupper, but it does work. Mouse follow, though. It doesn't work when you go off of your main screen. So I have like a side screen, which you can kind of see on stream. The vertical screen, so it does break the neck. I also have a bottom screen, also breaks the neck. I have a top screen, does not quite break the neck, but it looks very unnatural. So I'm also pretty sure this will work for other things as well. So we'll load this one in. This will break the eyes, by the way. This is a bug. No one's reported it just yet because everyone always uses the face trackers. But if you have a VRM model, this will also work. Look at that. And then completely demonic. My favorite feature of VPupper to this date is the ability to do this. I love doing this. Do this. Oh, that's good. Yeah. I really wanted to do this. Hello. It's useful for stuff like coding streams and moving the head towards code. That would be neat. I'm also thinking about doing something for OpenSea Face where it will be able to track your eyes. So what you will do, if you watch the duck instead of the anime girl, is that if you position your face in like a box, right? So you do like towards the camera left, towards the camera right, away from the camera right. Like you basically just do like low high on like, you know, forward back, left right. So you form like an imaginary cube. And then from those parameters, you can also do eye tracking. So you might see on some people's streams, they have like a gaze tracker that actually overlays something on stream. So I actually do have an overlay type thing. Right, so this mouse ripple thing, it only looks good when you're on one screen. So like this, look at that. So what I was thinking is that you could do something like that just using OpenSea Face, because OpenSea Face is really good at gaze tracking. Oh, hello, Needle Mouse. How are you? Maybe setting your model as an OBS overlay with the opacity lowered, people can see your code in the model at the same time. Yeah, I was thinking about that, but also, like, I don't know. I could just, like, zoom in my code or something. Transparent mode? Yeah. But yeah, I was thinking, right, it kind of looks like the, you know, Alicia here. This is the Alicia model. The reference VRM model is looking at my mouse pointer. But using the OpenSea Face thingy, and then as you know, you calibrate it so it's, you know, left forward, right forward, back, or back left. Wait, hold on. That doesn't make any sense. Left forward, back right, back left, and then you can calibrate your gaze, and then you can do something like this using just your eyes, right? You get the little overlay thing. So that's something I want to do. It's not directly related to OpenSea Face, but I thought that'd be cool. You need head rotation angle constraints? Yeah. I think I'd prefer just the user doing it themselves, because I need to think about the rotation angle constraint thing, or how to implement it at the very least. I do actually have like rotation angle constraints implemented. I just, you know, it's one of those things I need to get around to doing, because I have them, they're implemented for eyes. But I think it's more interesting if you do it like this. It's more cursed. And that's part of the charm, right? Is like, oh, it's weird. It's weird, and I'm into it. Trying to make a mod for Sonic 3 Air. What's Sonic 3 Air? Not familiar. All right, let's close this. This is actually technically already available, by the way. If you are using VPupper, you just go to this page, go to Mouse Tracker, and then download the appropriate binary, unless you're on Mac, in which case you're on your own. Yeah, and then you just place it right next to the binary, well, right next to all the other trackers, and then it should just work, or it should just show up, I should say, which is cool. Eye gaze tracker is sick. Yeah, well, that's not actually an eye gaze tracker. It's just following my mouse. That's the idea. The idea is for me to implement it. So hopefully, one day there will be a real eye gaze tracker. It still needs a lot of manual work to make happen, right? Because I'm the only one contributing code. But I get it, it's intimidating to jump into a big code base. So Sonic 3 Air is basically a fan ROM remaster of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sounds like a job for MediaPipe. Funny you mentioned that. So MediaPipe, I was working on that. Check this out. So there is a thing called GDMP. It's 3 commits behind master. Yeah, this guy's been working on it. I did contribute some code. Look at that. So it is possible to get MediaPipe supports into Godot, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's one of those things I need time to do it, right? But there's so many other things I need to do. So for example, I'm working on remote control server stuff. Fan-made Sonic engine, I think, for Godot. Yeah, I think I've seen a Reddit post about that. Isn't there there's already like a pretty big Sonic fan game engine, or and or official fan game engine, because it's officially sponsored by Sega, and that's what they made Sonic, whatever one of the newer 2D Sonics was made in. I was watching a YouTube video documentary on that. Or a YouTube video essay. I like watching video essays because I'm just an absolute degenerate with no taste. All right, remote control server. Max shutdown. Retries reached. So I'm using this 100% like a CMS, which is wrong, but that's fine. Client disconnected. All right, so I've actually done this before as well. So do we have access to the scene tree? We'll think about it. We can always yield. We can manually yield. Retro engine, yeah. Well, retro engine, that's the retro engine, right? Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't that in like an Edric or Eric Nugent video? I want to say. Remember when he still made videos? Engine get main loop. Idle frame. Logger debug. Retrying. Shut down. Trans plus equals 1. Kind of related, but the new Sonic game trailer looks like an Unreal Engine fan game. I'm not really. That's more of a needle mouse thing. Don't really play too much Sonic. Now that the code is zoomed in, I just realized you use VS Code. I like VS Code, yeah. You use high contrast dark mode. Also, my laundry is done. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Don't get lost. Hello, I'm back. Luckily, there wasn't too much of my laundry to fold. Or actually, I didn't fold any of it, really. It was just my bed sheets and pillowcases and my blanket, my blankie. Yeah, is it weird, actually? Like, I've been using the same blanket for, like, 20 years? Might be kind of a weird thing to admit to, but I've been using... I don't even use, actually, a blanket. I use a quilt. And then if I need more, like, warmth, I have other blankets to just, like, layer on top of me. GDScript instead of C#, because I like how easy it is to... Well, C# and Godot is fine, I think. Is not as seamless as Unity C#, but it's fine, I think. I think... My reason for using GDScript over C# is that if I need more power, I can just write, like I've written multiple C++ modules for Godot. So if I need more power, there's C++, or I can write Rust, which I've also written for Godot. So there's a real-time lip sync thing for Godot that I've written that's actually being used in this application, right? So if I switch over to, we'll use this one. I always use this one because I think this one looks fine. This one looks nice. And it's also not the reference model. But it does break every single time I load it in for some reason. But there is like a rudimentary lip sync thing that I wrote. And then there are also build scripts. Oh, whoops. Build scripts, or not build scripts, VPupper Godot modules, look at this, which is just an interpolation helper at the current moment. But it's one of those things like, if I need more power, I will compile in more power. More supported, so it's better. Yeah, GDScript is also very well supported, and it's not so bad, right? And also, GDScript, because it's interpreted, there's things like the mouse tracker that I was showing off, like that's right. It's possible to just add and remove it at runtime, and it'll just work, which is nice. My soy dev hands can't handle seg faults. Well, you just got to be careful about it. You could always just do Rust. I like Rust. I actually like Zig a bit more because I think Zig is a language that really speaks to me on a, I guess a conceptual level, right? Whereas Zig has no hidden control flow, which is like my worst enemy in any application. Which is actually why I like Golang as well. Because I think Golang doesn't really have any hidden control flow. Like Rust has procedural macros, C++ has just macros. Python has annotations, Java has annotations, C# has whatever those square bracket things are called. I'm still going to call them annotations. You know, hidden control flow makes things really hard to understand. Right, which is bad for me because I have the memory of pretty much a goldfish, right? Like I'm brain doesn't work. Brain absolutely does not work at full capacity for sure. And then for all of these, we can do server. I guess we can, no. Well, yeah, we need to call it shutdown because we don't want to shadow stop because that's one of the limitations. There are a lot of limitations to GDScript, right? So if you're shadowing, there's no super command, it's actually a dot command, which is weird. Server. So instead of just doing that, instead of using the dot command, we'll just name it something different. Surprisingly, Hugo uses very little Go on the front end. Yeah. I mean, lots of the Go in Hugo is on the back end for generating the templates and stuff. Like Hugo is really, really nice if you want an example of how to do CLI applications in Golang. Are we looking? Is this not safe for work? Oh, I like it. It uses the comic style shading thing, the dots. I like it. I like it. It has the arched nose bridge as well. How fancy. Yeah, I like it. I like it. We can even zoom in. Oh, you can't see it by needle mouse. Let me think. So this is per the remote control server. I think I've started explaining this multiple times and then like got sent off on a tangent by myself. But one of the big things that people keep asking for is the ability to trigger random facial expressions. So for example, this one, or facial expressions, this one, which is, you know, you have angry, like, oh, I'm angry. Oh no. I'm angry. Or like, I'm having fun. Right? So OpenCFace had the ability to do this manually, which is kind of tough. You know, I'm joyful, and then I also need to do a thing where it disables your eyes. Because you can kind of see when I look around, you can see my eyes poking through my face. Or like, I'm sorrowful. Oh no. This mouth is freaking me out. I'm surprised. What's the difference between this and fun? Oh, this one is weird. That's weird. I don't like that. I think that expression got broken, actually. Nah, something seems weird about this. No, I think it's fine. That's joyful. And then this is extra, which is also highly cursed. I implemented my own VRM Puppeteer program by using TypeScript Svelte and Go to render in the browser instead. So you're using the VRM packages that are already widely available? Yeah, I think I was linked to something else. It was like the Kaleido face, but packaged as Electron. So like, you know, I get it, right? That's one of the many benefits of using JavaScript, is that there's a ton of libraries already out there, you know, pre-built, so you don't have to do so much heavy lifting on your side. Yeah, it's cool learning how terrible Node is. Yeah, Node is pretty... Well, I mean, Node is good if you want to get something out fast, and be sure that it's going to work reasonably well. Yeah. So Hugo framework to make the website template and server. Once you get into Go routines, I think Go will make a lot more sense, or at least make its use case a lot more obvious. For a source that uses PHP for a SQL database, you guys use databases? You guys use SQL? I just write everything to a JSON file. My favorite kind of database. All right, so I'm pretty sure this will just work. So we do this, which means that I actually don't need to do any of this because these all share the same. These all share the same API, I think. Yeah. So these all have listen, and you listen on a port, and then you don't actually need to provide a bind address. Yeah, but for now, oh, you know what? We can ensure that this is correct by just doing server is equal to new, and then we'll just let it break for anything else, because I'm pretty sure I'm actually checking on this side when we create it. Yeah, I do check on this side. And then these all just use the same things. And then inside each individual implementation, then I can start broadcasting on the internal pub sub, right? Publish, subscribe, handler. So server, listen, port. And then we're always broadcasting on localhost. So that's fine. So start, what am I doing? Databases return to store ints with pencil and paper. Yeah. Just store your log files and then record all the individual pieces of user data from the logs. My favorites. I remember actually in school we had to do that once. where like we had to, instead of using a real database, we had to read the log files to get the previous state of the application. I was like, this doesn't feel right. There's no way like this is the right way to do things. And you know what? My intuition was correct. That was actually not the right way to do things. Who would have thought? But yeah, I think another reason why I'm really into using GDScript is that my first language that I learned was Python. Like I'm more or less a self-taught programmer. Right, I've said this multiple times on stream already, but like I took 2 programming classes in university, and then the rest was just management. At some point, I'm actually learn Markdown because Hugo is Markdown based, not HTML. Yeah. Well, doesn't Hugo does use HTML, but it uses Go templates, which are something else altogether. Right? Because Go templates are kind of based off of Jinja 2 templates, where Jinja 2 templates are used everywhere in Python. And you might notice a resemblance between Golang and Python. The syntax is somewhat similar. Like I actually really like Golang syntax. For sure. All right, so perform reception, and then all of this stuff just goes here. So on data received. You know what? What if I just send it? I don't know. What if we just send it, and then I'll just need to connect to myself? There's my broken head. Remote control server. I should not be able to do this. Yeah, try to start invalid server type. That's fine. WebSocket. So we can start. Oh. Not yet implemented. We'll probably need to pull this in later. Eh? Hold on. Okay, something's broken. That was not expected. Server selector. Hey. Add item. Server selector. Hugo supports embedding. Yeah. See, somebody knows Hugo. Not the only one who's done a little bit of Hugo. I've mostly done a lot of Go CLI stuff though. Structure and syntax language. Markdown feels too abstract about when and where to use tags. Well, you don't really use tags at all in Markdown, right? Markdown is white space, or it's not even white space based. Markdown is new line based. So you just put a bunch of new lines and then Markdown figures out the rest, right? So then if you want to have like empty lines between 2 elements, I think you just need to put like HTML break tags, I think, or maybe just manual new lines. But otherwise, Markdown is really, really easy. It's like you can mess it up as much as you want, but Markdown will try its best to render it. Hold on. Server selector, add item. Server selector is a option button. Is selected not a thing? I had to fix this before. Selected, yeah. That looks about right. What do I pass in for the port? Port? Oh, is this completely wrong? Do I not actually not have... No, there's a port, and then... Blah, blah. This should have broken, for sure. Because there's nothing there for this to work off of. Okay, so let's actually do this first then. There's a lot of things to do. It's one of those things where, like... When you get into it, you would think a lot of things in VTuber, right, are like, how do we implement this functionality? But actually, a lot of it's just like GUI programming, which is tough. Sounds like latex is your friend. Latex is absolute hell. I hate latex. All my homies hate latex. I feel like latex is one of those things that, like, if you're really into academia, you'll love it because you're already writing papers a lot. But if you're not in academia, you're gonna have a bad time. Because it's just yet another piece of, like, syntax that you need to learn in addition to, like, HTML, Markdown. That's pretty much it, right? But, like, latex isn't... Is latex Turing complete? Is latex Turing complete? Is late... Oh no, I think latex is Turing complete. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I thought I remembered that it's from somewhere. Latex is a Turing complete. So, like, Markdown isn't Turing complete. HTML is not even a programming language. But, like, latex, you can have, like, expressions, which is ridiculous. You can evaluate expressions in latex. I remember reading an article about that somewhere. Let's see. So these are all line edits, right? So then we can just do on line edit changed. Line edit changed. So you have some sort of text. And then we have the actual control. Well, let's add a constant for this. So let's duplicate this. How do you do this? Split up, split left. No, we don't want to split anything. Just give me this so I can look at the top. My favorite part about VS Code. So config keys. That's fine. Those are the config keys though. Well, actually we can still pass this in, that's fine. So config key, some sort of string. I'll just make it string based, but we're passing in a constant. So if text is empty, or I guess empty is how it's written in Godot 4, let's return. And then we just want to match on config key. So if it's config keys, remote server port, and then there's also the poll interval. So both of these are either valid floats or valid integers. Had fun with Java. I like Java. Controversial opinion. I think Java is pretty okay. Eh? Oh. Remote control server poll interval. Logger error. So what you're saying is I can code an animation of bad apple in latex? Yeah, probably. You probably could, maybe, if you were to render each one as a separate page, yeah? And then you basically just do the flipbook thing. Right? I think that would work, right? If you were to code each frame of bad apple in latex and then just put them on different pages, and then you printed it out, yo! Think about how much ink you could waste, but also think about the Reddit karma. Bad apple. Oh, wait, no, don't do it. You can Google that. I'm not going to Google that. I was about to Google bad apple latex, but I have a feeling that because I have safe search off, I'm going to get some things I should not be seeing. I'm sure there's tons of weebs out there that are posting on the associated tube website or hub websites. Reenacting bad apple in latex. But, you know, you can Google it yourself and let me know if that's actually a thing. I don't want to get banned off Twitch. So what are we doing here? I think either way we do need to check. Well, I guess just verify. Because this one is a float and this one is an integer, but we can't do an and or, because if we receive a float here for the port, this is gonna break stuff. So we need to check it here. So if text is valid integer, or if not, right? So this is actually slightly better, so you send an escape hatch. So we just return, and then this one, if not, text is valid float. Corn hub seems awesome to me. Lots of yummy corn. Yeah, love to stay up late at night, alone in my room watching Corn Hub. Gotta love lonely stalks near me husking themselves. Oh yeah, girl. Show me some hardcore corn shucking. What are other corn related words? Show me flicking your kernel. I don't really feel comfortable saying that out loud. Alright, so if we have the ports, then we'll do am at manager pub sub publish. That's not how you spell publish. Well, actually, we've already checked this, right? So we can publish text. Wait, no. Config key. Text to integer. Yeah, that's pretty easy, right? And we'll do the same thing for this, except this will be to float. Stop, no more corn jokes. What, are they too corny for you? Oh, that was a setup so I can make that pun. I was waiting for it. I got him. He's done it. I think possibly more than my corn puns were better. But I had it in my head. I was like, I gotta make. Is it too corny for you? How do I make the joke? And I executed on the plan. Successfully baited a chatter into doing. He's done it. Thank you for playing along. All right, ending the stream now, because it's all downhill from here. It's pretty much like a one good joke per stream, or at least one good joke in my world per stream. Everything else is just mindless rambling. Plus looking like I'm not getting too much done, but then like eventually I'll like try it out and be like, oh, okay, look at that. He's actually done like a huge amount of work. It's just it just looked like I was like mindlessly poking around at the code. But that's kind of how I work, right? It's like I don't really know. I don't. But it's not like I don't know. It's controlled chaos in that like I just kind of poke around mindlessly and then it just kind of works out. That looks about right. This part doesn't look right, but that's fine. Yeah, this looks more right. There we go. Do the Golang thing, we bail out. We do all of this stuff, blah, blah. We publish these keys, which means that we actually need to register everything here as well. So we do, hold on. Port line edit connect text changed. Got it. All right, text changed. Self What did I call it? Get or online edit change that I need to pass along the actual config key used for it. So config keys. This is port, yeah. We'll do roughly the same thing here. Let's just type it out just in case I get it wrong. I've been known to do that. Pull interval line edit connect text changed. Yeah, it's actually a sad day. I had to get RMAs on all of my ortholinear keyboards. Where if you're not familiar, the ortholinear keyboard is like, it's like a standard keyboard, right? But instead of having your keys being slightly staggered, like all your keys are in a grid formation, right? Which is actually like it feels really nice to my fingers because I don't like the staggered grid formation. I like just like, give me squares. Everything is a square. Everything is straight up, straight down, straight left, straight right. Which means if you just move your fingers up, down, straight up or straight down, you hit the next key. Whereas with the standard keyboard layout, you have to like move your fingers slightly to the left, slightly to the right. So I actually I touch type a lot faster on an ortholinear layout. But all the keyboards that I bought were defective. They all broke within like 6 months. You know, feels bad, man. I wasted my switches for nothing because I couldn't get the switches RMA'd, but I could also not be bothered to, you know, rip them out of the keyboard because I thought I would break the PCB. So I'm also out like, I got my money back, but I'm also out like $60 in switches. Kept the key caps, but like I don't really do custom keycaps, I guess. I just buy like an extra set of boring old ones. I like white keycaps with black lettering, or just completely blank keycaps as well. What am I looking at? I think this is fine, by the way. I'm cross-referencing with this thing to this, which is why I'm rambling on. What was I talking about? Keycaps? Yeah. Which is why I was talking about keycaps, because that was the first thing that came to mind after I started reading. All right, so we go to here. Go to WebSocket. So this, successful. Hold on, what? Didn't I fix this? Like, it's loading in properly now. Yeah? Not yet implemented. Remote control server. Yeah. Yeah. This is the GUI. Server handler. Remote control. This is the remote control server. Remote control server. That's a massive oof in regards to your keyboard troubles. Well, don't worry. To cheer myself up, I did buy myself a happy hacking keyboard. Which is like a huge ripoff, kind of, if you think about it. Because it's just a keyboard, but it's like, because it's an import, and it's also extraordinarily niche because it's not actually a pure mechanical keyboard. It's a hybrid. So it uses rubber domes, but also an actual physical switch. So it's weird. And it's only made in Japan by Panasonic, who owns Topre. But let me tell you, it does feel really nice to use. Yeah. I mean, I do still own like more mechanical keyboards than the average person does. Whereas I think your average person either owns 1 or 0 keyboards, depending on if they have a desktop or not. If they have a desktop, they probably own 1 keyboard. If they only have a laptop, they own 0 keyboards. Whereas I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 keyboards. All of which are mechanical, except for this one that I'm currently using, which is Topre, which is a hybrid anyways. Yeah. I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, I'm hitting this somehow, but I'm not on REST, right? Like I wasn't selecting REST. I was on WebSocket, right? Yeah, I'm on WebSocket, but I'm still hitting this one, and we're shouldn't be hitting, yeah. I don't really have an answer. Wait a minute, I got it. Server selector is not setting itself initially, right? No, it is? All right, hold on. Maybe it is? Hold on. Set itself to none, set itself to WebSocket. What? See, and one of the weird things is that I'm not able to set a breakpoint, right? Because I'm actually I'm loading this in dynamically. So even if I wanted to step through with a debugger, I'm not able to. Because the entire idea of this, or the big change from OpenC Face GD, which is actually the current program that I'm using for face tracking, right? And VPupper, is that a lot of the functionality is moved to extensions / plugins. They mean the same thing in my world, but I know for some people they mean different things. So the plus side is that it's easier to add new features. The downside is that it's kind of like that Python thing, right? Is that you're not able to really debug well, you're not really able to debug if you're loading things in dynamically. If it's not dynamic, right, then you can't debug it. So this should be right, because I'm not getting the no valid value found, right? So this is a valid value, right? So remote control server, yep. I guess I can add a debug print, because we still get valid debug prints. Found initial value. So let's save that, go back to here. This is the wrong thing, remote control server. So initial value is 1, which is right. What do you mean? And then we go to start button, start server, true. True, that's pretty true. And then rest should be 0. Yeah. Well, no. Rest is... Oh. Well... Hold on. No. Wait. Yes. Wait. No? Oh, okay. So this assigns an ID, but I'm working off the index. That's kind of dumb. Okay. But no, I get it, though. I get it. Yeah, so on listener type press, but this is working on the index. I should be working off the ID. Index press, yeah, okay, sure. Okay, I got it. He's done it. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. So I was looking at this. I was like, there's something wrong here, right? Because is it based off the ID? But like, I'm actually passing in this value here, so this shouldn't be based off of the ID. But then I looked at this, I was like, oh, actually it is working off the ID. It's not the index. Or no, it is adding it at the index that I specified, but I'm actually listening for index pressed as noted here in the code. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. He's done it. So we can actually set this to be ID pressed, which is also slightly tough. because it's not always super correct, but that's fine. I will change this to reflect it. So ID. Oh, whoops. You know what game I've been playing a lot though? I've been playing a lot of New World, maligned Amazon Game Studio game. It's actually a lot of fun. It's like it's 100% like a casual MMO for sure. That's what it reminds me of. Very similar to like a Guild Wars 2, which I'm also a big fan of. It's not quite as action packed as Genshin Impact, which honestly, like, you know, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think Genshin Impact is actually a really good game. One, because it's free, and two, like, that, you know, if you want to play through the entire game without interacting with the gambling mechanics, it's actually not so bad. Which I can say because I've done it. I was bored 1 week because I had to take PTO, so I was like, you know what if we just play through Genshin Impact on an alt account without gambling? And you know what? It's actually a lot more fun that way. Because it's more challenging. Genshin isn't bad, neither is Tower of Fantasy. I just don't have the time. That's also very fair. Tower of Fantasy, I think Tower of Fantasy is actually kind of bad. I've still kept up with it on my iPad. I think Tower of Fantasy is a game that kind of requires you to log in every day. Otherwise, you'll be given a lot of catch-up, like experience and rewards, but your stats do not scale with your level, right? Which means that the world gets harder, but you stay the same strength, even though your level gets higher. It's one of those games that scales the entire world to your level. So actually, like, the longer that you stay like offline, the weaker you get, which really sucks. The gameplay and the story is good. For Tower of Fantasy, you think the story is good? I highly dispute that. I think the story in Tower of Fantasy is like absolute garbage. Like, it's 100% one of those games that's like, you know, oh, whoops. What the heck? What's happening? Okay, so there's a new bug. Listener type pressed. Okay, so this is getting the set item checked, and then this goes by index. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Mia's a lot better than emergency food. Is she? Mia has like no personality whatsoever. Can you even name any characters from Tower of Fantasy besides Mia? If only because Mia even has like one of those daily things where she cooks food for you. Like, who are the other characters? There's Frigg. I only know Frigg because she like beats you, or she more or less beats you several times. Samira, Meryl, are they actual characters? Those are characters you pull for, right? But in the main story, like, who's the scientist lady? I know there's a scientist lady who experiments on other lady who is a sister of big guy. Are they actual characters? Maybe I haven't progressed far enough in the story. I only got to the I'm like just past the amusement park. Yeah, but like I'm talking about like actual like main story characters. So unlike in Genshin, like there are, like they actually incorporates the characters you pull for in the story, whereas in Tower of Fantasy it just feels like, I don't know, just so far it's just Frigg, but Nemesis? Yeah, Nemesis is the lady that gets experimented on. Shirley? Yeah. Can you name any other character? Like, there's no connection built between you and Shirley at all. Yeah, Shirley sounds right. Or like, why are the Marauders and the hyenas even trying to attack you? Like, are they just raiders or are they something else? Like, that's something else I don't really get. It's like, why are they fighting you? You know, in Genshin, at least they explain it like these are essentially wild animals, but also like fallen people from the civilization from like 500 years ago. And then like they cursed whatever. Hold on, option button. Right, I passed an option button. Yeah, so I can get the get selected ID. Okay. Current index selected. Set item. Oh, is that not how that works? So get pop-up, and then we can do... Been over weeks now, last play. The hyenas are just bandits? Yeah, you got a lot of hyena lore from Subas. It's from the text messages. From the text messages. And don't you have to... You have to have the character if you want to get text messages as well? Like, I'm assuming that you get text messages from, like, King or whatever. If you have them. I do have Subasa. Kind of sucks. Because it takes forever for her charge shot to charge up. So, like, I never use the charge shot. I pretty much just, like, press attack 3 times and then hold it for the arrow rain. And then switch off. You have to have the character and send them gifts. Yeah, see? Like, if you don't have the character, you don't get any story from them because they're not incorporated into the main story. They're just, like, characters. Which is why there's something I don't like about Tower Fantasy. It feels very... I don't know. There's something off about how the story is told. Like, I think if you blew a lot of money on it, I think you would actually get the full story. But considering how, like, messy the game is in regards to its game files, I'm not super confident in it. So yeah, this is based off index, but then we can get the current index based off the based off the current item ID. So then we get the current ID, which is also an integer, which is the OB gets item ID based off of the OB selected. Yeah, so then we'll get rid of this. This is wrong. This is wrong. And then get item text is based off of the index. Get item ID. Well, no, because this is the ID. So we have the ID. We need the index from the ID. Oh, get item index. That's right. So hold on. Undo me. Hold on. OB. Or this is pop-up, get item index from the ID, because we have the ID, yeah. So then the rest of this should just work, so we just need to go through here. Set item checked is based off of the index. SSR side quests also had a lot of lore about Hykros. Do they? I played through Ice Sword Lady. What was her name? You typed it. Mir something. Meryl, yeah. Meryl. I didn't really get that much lore from it. It wasn't like her spoilers. Meryl's brother died, and that's it. Wasn't that it? I didn't really get anything else from Meryl's side story. Other than like, oh, Meryl used to have a brother, and then he died. Whereas I think, like, at least in Genshin Impact, you have an actual side story that goes through some sort of scenario that has a, the character somehow changes, well, in some of them at least, from how they started. I might be a little biased, and I acknowledge that. Item text. Get item text. See, this is all based off the index. Not the ID, but then listener types. Okay. So then we can try this again. After getting distracted, ranting on about Tower Fantasy. This quest was about her brother and the sheer strength of enemies. Brother is MIA, not KI. Really? Oh yeah, you know what? They never found the body, so he is MIA. That's true. That's true. Alright, WebSocket. I have 2 things selected as well, but that's fine. Okay, hold on. Let me do this again. One more time. What? No previously selected item found. Maybe this should be based off of hold on. Okay, which means that there's now a problem here. Set item check. This is now based off of index, which is just fantastic. Samir's quest was about Hycro's lack of ethics to improve simulacra. You know, I have not played through Samir's quest yet. I do have Samir though, because I was reading the subreddit for the best character to pull, and I was like, you know what? All right. I guess if Samir's gonna stay meta for a while, I'll pull Samir. You know, double guns do go pew pew for sure. Like I think I'm level like 59, I think, but I'm only at about like 16,000 CS, which means I'm still getting my butt kicked. Samir's pretty good. Samir's, yeah, she's all right. I still don't really get the rotations in Tower of Fantasy for sure. Like in Genshin Impact, it makes more sense, right? So you set up like an elemental reaction and then you pop ults. But like in Tower of Fantasy, you can't really set up anything because as soon as you switch, you pop the ult anyways, which kind of sucks. Like you do have different attacks that you can pop based off of like your movement inputs. So you can, you know, you have the hold attack inputs, you have the dash attack inputs, you have the jump attack inputs, but like nothing really sets up for another attack besides your ultimates. Like if you have Meryl, which I do have, you can pop her ultimates and then you trap the enemy in a, you know, a little crater, a little Jarvan 4 for all the League players out there. But like after that, like it's you don't really have any other ultimates that really combo off of each other, right? Everything is just like, you know, raw DPS gear stats. For roughly 10 minutes. Oh, we're talking about Tower Fantasy, just trash gacha game. I guess depending on your views on gacha games, all your gacha games are trash anyways. Samir, Crow, Tsubasa. You know what? I run Samir, Meryl. Who's the other one I have? Hold on. I can think about this. I have Samir. I actually have four of the SSRs. I have, because I got really lucky. I have Samir, Tsubasa, and Meryl. Yeah, that's my main team. And I also have Staff Lady. I also have Staff Lady who does the heals. See, that's pretty indicative of how I feel about their characters, by the way. Is that I only know them by their weapons. Because otherwise, they don't really have any impact on the story. Playing a team rotation in Tower Fantasy, you gotta find what works. Hello, Dash. Coco Reader? Yeah, Coco Reader. Yeah, I think if you're looking for like a base, like a more classic MMO style rotation thing, I think Tower of Fantasy is okay. For sure. It reminds me a lot of Guild Wars 2 in that respect, since you need to pick your side weapon. Hold on. I'm getting too into the Tower Fantasy thing. Studio Code. How about using an anime theme for Visual Studio Code? No, I don't really need to get distracted. I get distracted enough, as you can tell, talking about gacha games. Like, honestly, I do think gacha games are a pretty okay business model, right? Because otherwise, like, how else would you get people to pay for your game, right? Because a business model like Guild Wars 2 where you buy once and play forever, like, that's not sustainable. Because you still need to pay somebody to, pay for the server. Which is where gacha comes into play, right? So you have some sort of cash stream. You have a large player base of free to play, and then you have the small player base of whales who support the server, basically. So, like, I get it. Like, if you want to, I think a good gacha game, right, is really only cosmetic skins. So, like, something like Azure Lane. Which is part of why my Twitter feed is kind of degenerate. Item text. So this is the index. But then if we're storing the ID, then we need to get the index from the ID. Okay. And then the selected is the currently selected item, which is the ID. Yes. Listener type. Item count. Get item text, which is based off of the index. So we need to get the pop up. Get item. Wait. Index. Yes. Okay, so get item index I, and then we wrap that here, because I here is actually the ID, which is why I'm so confused. Yeah, King, Meryl. Yeah, Meryl is shield break because she has a great sword. Yeah, Samir, DPS, Crow, DPS. Or King is also shield break. Subasa, Kokoroder, recharge. Subasa is recharge? I thought Subasa was like a buffer. And then Huma, yeah, I don't have any Huma. Battle Passes, loot box, DLC is premium currency. This gets tired after a while. I receive my Steam Deck and catching up on all my claim games for free from Epic. I have a ton of games actually from Humble Bundles. I was one of the earlier jumpers on Humble Bundles. So I used to buy a ton of them for like almost nothing because I was still in university, had no money. Most of my money either went to either rents or alcohol. So, I would pay like $5 for like the huge super packs every single time. Because I'd be like, maybe I will like find the time to play. And then I got a job. And then I picked up a ton of jobs. And I still kind of miss those days where I was just, wrapping burritos. Big fan of wrapping burritos. My favorite job. It was a lot of fun. All right, so WebSocket, that's right. This is actually still going on the wrong one. What am I doing wrong here? This is the right thing. Yeah, but congratulations on reclaiming your Steam Deck. I'm still waiting for my, what is it called? I need to check my email real quick because I still have the receipt. My play dates. Not sponsored, by the way. Yeah, my play date. Because I thought this looked really cool. I want to get one of these. I actually did pre-order one of these. And the early reviews look good, so I'm interested. My transactions suck. I'm free to play and gets quite grindy later into the game. Yeah, I've noticed it. I've noticed that it gets really grindy, especially when you're on a server that has like a 500% EXP boost. Go to food, not rents. Well, here's the dirty little secret, right? Is that if you are spending a lot of money on food, what you can do is buy a big bag of rice, go to your local Asian supermarket, buy a big bag of jasmine rice, then go to pretty much any market, buy a big bag of lentils. Lentils, not beans. Don't buy beans. Buy lentils. They're a lot easier to prepare. And that's your two dry goods. And that's it, right? Then you just buy vegetables like every week. And then that's your meal for the entire month. I did that for 2 years. Actually, yeah, no, 3 years, because my last year, one of my years in university, I did not have any sort of meal plan fallback. Yeah, so I was on the basically rice and lentil grind for a little bit. Is it doable? Yeah. Does it suck? Yeah. Does it also lead to you only spending like $15 a month on food? Also, yeah. Like I had, even now, like I still only buy, like I buy a carton of eggs. I buy 2 cartons of eggs per month, plus a big bag of rice, plus like a big bag of like frozen vegetables. And I just go through that in a month. And then the rest of my monthly food budget goes to alcohol. You know, I've been looking at this part. This part looks wrong, by the way. Right? Because we have 2 things that are selected when I start up, right? So if I go back to this application, you look at it, right? We're selecting on 2 things at once, which is why I was looking at this thing for a while. What was I talking about, by the way? Food budget? That sounds about right. But something about this looks wrong, which is leading to this situation where we have 2 items selected, which is not right either. You're using an Electron-based application. That's what you're doing wrong. Well, which thing am I doing wrong, by the way? Which thing is Electron? Where is Electron? Is it OBS that's Electron? Food up here is expensive. I still budget $500 for rent. Yeah. You know, when I was still in school, I paid $450 about for rent. VS Code. You know what? That's fair. VS Code, though, I think VS Code brings enough benefits. I was gonna say, like, if you're about to say Godot is Electron-based, I was about to go off, but no, that's right. VS Code is Electron-based. But I think VS Code brings enough benefits that it warrants being Electron-based. Yeah. There are some things that don't warrant being Electron-based, right? Like Spotify here, you can see that. I don't actually run Discord. just showing off what the heck I'm even running in the background here. Meme on Electron. Well, you know what I was talking about earlier? So just bring up my Twitter feed again. I'm not going to show it off because I have... Twitter feed is 100% still super degenerate. There we go. One of these. So you have this type of application, which is applicable to any sort of some sort of VTuber application that uses BMC data, right? And then you can see here, Dioxys. This is another thing I was looking into. So this is not Electron, but it uses the same technology as Electron. So it's still, you get all the same kind of like, okay, back, forward, copy, whatever for free. But it doesn't bundle Electron, so it's not as big. Electron uses a lot of RAM because it's Chrome. Dioxys uses your native web view implementation. So it's supposed to be very light. So I was thinking I would probably make all my future tool applications in Dioxys. And then this would be the first thing that I make. Because this one's pretty easy, right? Motion Replay by Amelia. She makes OpenCFace, which is the current application that I'm using for face tracking right here, right? So this thing seems useful. Could make it with Dioxys, which is written in Rust. I know Rust. We can do it. But here I am trying to debug why this isn't working. Says like Tori, which is written on... Yeah. Dioxys is written on top of Tori. Yeah. So instead of using... Tori requires you to bring your own front end. Dioxys brings their own front end, which is, I guess... in essence kind of like U, if you're familiar with that in Rust. But instead of like, you know, using U, which is based off of Elm, and I'm honestly not really sure how Elm works. Right. Dioxys. You can even find the documentation yourself, right? Here it is. Here's Dioxys. Dioxys. This is what I'm planning on doing. Look at this. Dioxys is built on top of Tori. But I don't like writing my own JavaScript frameworks. I'd rather someone else do the framework thing for me. Opening line on the VTuber side support with multiple tracking backends, so might as well try to add it in. Which tracking backend are we looking at, by the way? Because there are 3 backends currently supported, right? So there is OpenCFace, iFacial mocap, and just mouse tracking. And then the plan is right now, since you are one of the, pretty much the primary person currently maintaining the website, is that all this stuff is kind of written to a file here under data, which is why there's like a data folder, right? And so under raw.json, you add all the potential data thingies that you would need. There's a download URL, which is still to do. That's going to change in the future, I think. Right. And then you just pull this file. So if you go to raw, this is actually a static URL, right? That's the idea, is that I use GitHub to host all the complicated bits. And then the entire concept of pulling data is just pushed off onto the clients. Every 60 seconds, a JS framework is created. Well, yeah, fair enough, right? The only ones I'm really familiar with are Angular and React. I've dabbled in Vue. I'm not really familiar with how Svelte works, but Svelte looks like it's fairly popular. But I don't do front end anymore anyways. I can do front end if you really need me to, but I don't do any CSS 100%. CSS is absolutely not my thing. Store data. Svelte is nice, really nice. Well, is it statically typed? That's the only thing, as if it's not statically typed, I don't count it as nice, which is why I also don't like working with Python anymore. It's because a lot of Python frameworks are not statically typed. CSS, half the time I saw web issues with CSS instead of JS. No. Doesn't sound like we can be friends. I hate CSS with a passion. Like, do I understand why it's necessary? Yes. Do I like working with it? Absolutely not. So this is publishing, by the way. So we're updating these properly. Listener type pressed should also be updating properly, right? Because we're connecting this here. Wait. Yeah, we're connecting this here. Server selector. Option button. Yes, that's right. We're good friends. You're good at back end. I'm good at the front. You kiss your mother with that mouth. It actually is static because it compiles the component logic and installs it into single JS and CSS files respectively. There is no virtual DOM like with React, Vue, and Angular. I think only React and Vue use a virtual DOM, right? Angular does something different with the DOM, where that's at least what React is really known for, is using a virtual DOM. Document object model, yeah. I'm also, by the way, I should note, I'm not familiar with Angular. I'm only familiar with AngularJS, which is, I guess, no. If you want to tag a version to it, it's Angular 1X. This is the only Angular version I've worked with. Surprise, surprise. Lots of banks are only still using AngularJS because it's really difficult to get newer versions in. Listener type. Oh, this is the item count. So it's not actually the... Okay, I see. So I'm passing in the wrong thing here, which is why I'm getting the wrong value. But I should add this back in, but I don't want to because it's not actually implemented. Okay, so in order to be more configuration file safe, this is what I need to do. This is wrong. This is by index count, but I actually need the ID, which means pop-up get item. Shouldn't this be pop-up get item ID? Okay, and then this is the index. That's right, that's right. So this should be get item ID. He's done it. He's found it. Get item ID. Okay. Yes, that's right. He's done it. There was one line that was slightly off, and I think that was it. So we look at this. There should be none. WebSocket. Close. Close. Go back, because that should autosave. Open. Okay. I'm mad. Why is this not right? Index. Pop-up. Get item text. It's out of bounds. Default. Pop-up menu. If you want to actually be saying you combine Svelte with TypeScript, yeah, that's fair enough, I guess. Well, TypeScript is still a JavaScript once you compile it all the way down, but it does have a very robust type checker, which I appreciate. You know, actually, Dino, the other JavaScript runtime, if you're not considering Bun, so there are now 3 competing JavaScript runtimes, by the way. TypeScript actually moved a lot of the logic out of TypeScript back to JavaScript because the TypeScript compile times are too long. Parrot OS, like older LTS files, security to show that needs time to verify to file integrity. I wish I did any file integrity checking, or I guess config file integrity checking. It's tough. Get item text. So get item text, which is the get item I. Oh, this is not get item. This is get item index. Get item index. Get item index is the other one. Okay, he's done it. Because I'm storing the ID, but I need the index because I'm actually. Because the item index can actually change. Yes, so that's correct. And then we start. Disconnected. All right, so that did not change, which means it's somewhat correct, which means I do need to do this because Godot made the slightly strange choice of not giving you one of these things to work off of. So we'll do Godot. Hold on, Godot custom 3x. Help. What is it? It's I need to open a project, please. Editor. I'll pass in home dev virtual puppet project vpupper. Yeah, send me, dude. All right. Thanks for nothing. Project.godot. Go into here, and then we actually get good log files now. It's actually one of the changes I really don't like from Godot. This is failed parse, but that's probably fine. New meme every 60 seconds. JavaScript runtime is created. JavaScript runtime, maybe. Well, I mean, if you're using Dino, right? Like you can implement your own runtime based off of Dino's runtime. I think I actually posted something like that in my Discord server. That was something I was thinking about. I was like, what if we just do something like that with Tori? And then it would be theoretically possible to rewrite this entire application using, you know, like a Dino runtime plus, you know, the Rust backend, which would be really nice. Because then I wouldn't need to worry about the VRM thing anymore, right? Because the VRM thing is still kind of hostage, right? It's based off of whatever the upstream Godot VRM project does, which is a little worrying because I think we're kind of at odds with each other. Oh no, because I've talked with the upstream Godot VRM people a few times. I've talked with those people a few times, and like I really just do not understand, like, well, I guess the leader, I should say. I don't understand what they're talking about. Because I don't know. I mean, if you ask me, I think they're a little unhinged. But it's also possible that they're talking at a level I can't understand. But I you know, I'm basically a senior developer at this point, so I don't know. I'm more on the side of like this person's absolutely insane rather than like I don't, you know, I'm out of my depth, right? Because I think any technical concept, like, this is more a philosophical question, right? Like any technical concept can really be explained in simple terms, right? Any technical concept can be explained in simple terms, unless you don't know what you're talking about. In which case, then you'll just be using a ton of tech jargon. And so I tend to lean on the side of, you know, this person's probably incompetent rather than I haven't seen it before. You know, unless their credentials match up, right? Like, so if you do, like, if you're like a PhD level computer scientist, I might not know what you're talking about. But you know, if you're just doing rendering, then, or data structures, then I know what you're talking about. I've done that kind of stuff before. Oh, Foss is relying on other people. It goes down, the entire project crashes. Well, kind of, right? So that, I mean, the entire project is still there. And I would like to think that my project is sensible enough to be able, or for other people to be able to pick up in case I just disappear for whatever reason, right? By the way, I keep clicking on this because I'm looking at it. I'm kind of wondering, why am I not getting like a good verbose out, right? Because I'm only getting info prints when I click off or when I click stop. So I get this thing here, logger error. Wait, no, I keep getting this. All clients disconnected. Where's all clients disconnected? Is it, who is it? It's one of these. All clients disconnected. Start server. All clients disconnected. Is it you? Yeah, it is you. What the heck? Wait, so it is working. It's just not giving me... Okay, hold on. Am I just dumb? Has this been working? I am dumb. Oh, you know what? I am absolutely just a big dummy. It has been working. I just have not been looking at it. Info. Remote control server. Server started. Control F. Let's find it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Not my favorite way to conduct business, but if needed. So this should be started. This needs to change to the different text, but that's fine. Remote control server started, which means we'll go to Postman. Okay. Thank you, Postman, for starting up here so you don't expose anything I shouldn't be showing. Then, because this is a WebSocket server, There's a way to do WebSockets in Postman. I know that. All right. Actually, you can look at me do Postman requests if you want. So where is it? Postman. I know there's a way to do WebSocket requests. Is it here? Is it here? No, this is just the new collection. How do I delete? I think Postman is also. Hey? Why can I not delete this? Delete. Hey? Delete. Hey? What? No, thanks, Postman. How do I delete you? Wasn't it from here? You delete from here? Am I going crazy? Is this not how you delete a Postman collection? I am very confused. That's fine. We'll just go back to Mangadex. Or we'll go back to here. I know there's a way to do a please get out of here. Go back to my workspace. WebSocket connection. Postman. WebSocket. Did they hide it? What the heck? Creating a new. To change the authorization. What? I'm logged in, am I not? I'm logged in. This collection is read only? Your IP is, oh yeah, it's 127.0.0.1. Send Monero. You know Monero is actually traceable? No longer. It's been traceable actually for a while, even before the pandemic. Yeah, you can't get me with your cryptos. I actually worked professionally in crypto for actually 6 months now, and I still knew more than any of those programmers. It's traceable since when? How? Well, it's traceable in the same way that Tor is traceable, I believe. So all you need to do is find the control enough nodes. Control enough nodes, and then you also need to know the initial sending node and the exit node, and then you can trace it, right? Or am I thinking of something else? A node is traceable up until it disappears to the, yeah. So 51%, yeah, as long as you control over 50%. But no, I believe Monero is traceable in that you still need to enter the blockchain through some node, right? And then as long as you control one of those nodes, you can go back, right? And that's why I made the Tor comparison, right? Is because Tor is also, renowned for being anonymous, but it's actually not anonymous as long as you control enough nodes in the system. Because each Tor node only knows about, the node it received from and the node it's sending to. So if you can control enough of those nodes, you can actually take a request and then just jump back enough nodes. So I think most Tor nodes only jump 3 times. So you just need to get lucky enough so you jump through those nodes. And then you know who it came from. Because there's also an exit node and a entry node. What is this? Is it really just, it's not new. Don't make me, oh, okay. Okay. Why am I not able to kill this collection, by the way? That seems weird. WSS. I believe this isn't actually WSS, by the way. It's not secured. All clients disconnected. So this is 999. Localhost 999. You can just connect. Am I connected? I think I am connected. Nope, cannot connect to. What did I get? Nothing. Maybe just WS because it's probably not connected on a privileged. Yeah, okay, we're not privileged. But we can type in hello. Yeah, there we go. I get hello from here. Oh, baby. Yeah, there we go. So then we just need to broadcast this across the entire application. Set up crypto to go through next on the Tor network layer with to be the final onion router VPN. It's a complete and utter chance of using a compromised node. Pain in the bus, but hey, it works. Yeah, I don't know. You know, a lot of big banks are actually buying into crypto now. Not just in like crypto holdings, but also for maintaining their own network nodes, which is also may or it may not be something that I'm working on, which is the ability to scale up or scale down nodes as required by network congestion. So they'll maintain their own side chain, and then, you know, you'll from your side chain, you'll resolve somehow to the main Ethereum network. And then so that they can scale up or scale down the amount of validators based off of the network congestion, which is weird, but I think also makes sense. So I want to go into red team or blue team with my cybersecurity stuff. I think red team sounds a lot more interesting. If I had an opportunity to do that. All right, so clean close, and then this stops all clients. So we start again, and we go to Postman, connect, and then I stop my connection here. Yeah, I guess it just worked. Okay, sure. And then this gets disconnected as well. Okay, cool. Look at that. So the only thing I'm missing now, there's actually a lot of stuff, but start server. I need to pass along the button. All right, so here's the button. Start button. And so we'll change the text on this depending on whatever, right? So this is some sort of button. Button text is equal to tr remote control server stop server. And see, this is also kind of what I'm talking about. Is like I tend to get hung up on really simple stuff pretty often. But once we find the seam, we're in there, right? I just got hung up on this one small part here. But now we're back, baby. Doing red team right now is truly a red pill job trying to strip away and bypass people's Wi-Fi passwords. Don't you just need to, sniff people's packets? Isn't that just like you just use like Wireshark or something and you intercept packets and look at them? Isn't that it? Okay, took a little bit. So we go here, start, stop server. Yeah, there we go. And then this actually needs to bring me to here. So where does this get set to initially? You know, where is it? Start button text, start. Where is it? Where did I put you? Oh, it's one of these. Okay. Start button text. So this actually needs, alright, so I already have something like this. Start listening. So TR this. Stop listening, or stop. And one of these. So this is start. Wireshark, yes, but CS students at the uni are smarter than that, are they? Hack Frost team? I don't know anything about that. Oh, hello, Knock. How are you? Hello. We're getting pretty close to a full release. Knock is one of the OGs, if you will. Where's the bloody duck? Thank you for redeeming 8 hydrates. I will finish up my water because I'm done with all my fancy kombucha. Apologies. Yeah, see, Knock knows all the hidden commands. Takes a little bit because I'm running in a different terminal, but check this out. So we got just lots of random stuff working. So look at that. Real mouse logger hours. Proceed to spill like half of that on myself. Alright, I'm now out of water. Please don't redeem another hydrate, because I'm almost done with the stream. But yeah, look at that. Wow. This is not me moving my head, because the anime girl is actually where my head is looking. Look at that. Please don't please don't redeem the 42069 now, because I'm almost done. Actually, I should be done right now, but we'll still keep going. But yeah, I'm re-implementing a lot of stuff. So we have the WebSocket server working once again. Thank you very much, that pixel, for the follow. But here we go. Ugh. All this stuff is more or less working. So now all we need to do is a am pub sub publish on like hold on, I'm thinking remote control server action, probably, and then we'll just kind of pass the data. Maybe I'll think about it. I still gotta think about it, because how I used to do this was, yeah, we would parse it and then try to like transform it into like an actual Godot data structure from there. Yeah, you're very chonky, Knock. Thank you for wasting your points on it. Yeah, if I earn 1.3k points per week, it'll take a few months to gain that much. Yeah, Knock's been around, so I think Knock can actually, you can still redeem the pivot at any point, right? Still holds the fate of the stream in his hands. But also the stream is pretty much over at this point. Yeah, so actually what I'm gonna do is we'll go here, not here, here, not here. Virtual Puppet Project, repupper. Okay, so we got a lot of things changed. Get store assets, PRM models, Alicia. What's changed in export presets? I don't remember. Exports, presets, config. It's good to know that the line endings got all sorts of messed up. I guess I'll push this anyways. We have a GitHub workflow. Okay, fine. All right, I gotta do all this manually. So resources, extensions. So pretty much anything and extensions can get sent. Wait, no. Anything and extensions under remote control server needs to get sent along with the. Oh no. What change in utils? I have no idea what change in utils. All right, so only things in remote control server. So my pivot range. Nice div, yeah. I made a change to my git config to ignore the CR, LF, and LF. And now everything is all kinds of messed up on my Windows machine, which is very sad. You know what I did do recently is I did submit several PRs to the upstream OpenSea Face repository. Look at this. Wow, it's me. Build workflows. It's something I've tried to avoid doing over all these years because I mean, this is what I have to do at work, so I don't want to do work stuff during my off time. But it works. It works under my repository, so Never say I never did anything for you. Or at least for upstream. For open source. Look at that. Real build artifacts. I mean, the name could use some work, but, you know, whatever. It's beautiful. I just don't like doing it in my off time because this is what I bang my head against all day at work. Sometimes when it's broken. Otherwise, I just try not to touch it. And then proceed to deflect blame onto other people. Remote control server. So we add all of these things. Add everything and push to master. Yeah, exactly. I used to do that. But now that we are, you know, somewhat established in the community, I try to only do things via PRs now. Because it's better practice. What a saint. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Please, massage my ego even more. So this is remote I guess halfway implement WebSocket remote control server. That's pretty much it, right? So we'll push this. Oh no. Updates were rejected because the tip of your current branch is... What? What happened? What happened? Where are we? Oh, I force pushed it. From where? Oh no. Start adding remote control server. How many commits? Oh no. Oh no. What happened? I don't think I worked on this from anywhere else, right? Oh geez. Git log p. Speaking of, if you need a pop DB machine to test on, oh baby. Force push? Yeah, I'm almost there anyways, but I'm kind of wondering what happened. Also, any Vim mains out there? How do you scroll down one of these logs really quickly? Because what I always do is I just press 5 and then J or K really fast. If I need to jump down like even farther, maybe sometimes I'll press 55. Shift G? Well, no, but that Shift G just pushes you to the bottom. I don't want to go all the way to the bottom. I just want to scroll really fast. That's less nano. Yeah, no, Shift G works, but I don't want to jump all the way down. I just want to scroll down faster. As opposed to having to do this really quickly, which is 5J. Sometimes I'll do like 9J to go down even faster, but it's my fingers have to go farther away from the home row to do that. I'm not really sure what changed, so we're just gonna send it, I guess. It looks all about the same to me. All right, there we go. I guess we'll push this over here, and then I can look at both at once. Nox Duck is kind of in the way. And that looks about right. Looks about right. Looks about right. Yeah, looks right. Oh, hold on. Server handler is different. Oh, there's no server handler, which means I changed something else. Oh, good. I don't think I rebased, yeah. Then there's more here as well in WebSocket GD. I made some sort of change and then didn't pull it for whatever reason. Have a number to skip out? Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been pressing 5J. Duck, what do you say? Yeah, you know what? That's probably fair. Go duck yourself. Yeah, so yeah, don't worry. I'm very familiar with how Vim works, right? Git log p. I mean, git log v, that's less, right? Or it uses the same less command. So 9J is pretty easy. 10J requires me to take my finger off of the J key. Control D? Isn't Control D... Isn't that Emacs? Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what? That is way better. What did these stand for? Or is that like a less command? That might be a less command, actually. Actually, how did you know that? Where is that listed? It's Vim? Is it a Vim thing? Doesn't less use the same thing though? Or less uses the roughly the same thing? No? Control U. No. I know G sends you to the top. Shift G sends you to the bottom, and that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge. Control F goes down a page, Control B. Control F. Crucial F. Oh, that's half. And then D goes the entire way? I'm trying to see. I'm not super familiar. Control F goes down a page, Control B goes up. You know what? That looks about right. You know what? That does look right. Okay. That's what I was looking for. And then you can just do that really quickly. All right. Oh, yeah. Forward and back. Forward and back. Isn't that... That feels like an Emacs kind of thing, though. Up and down. Up, down. Okay. Up, down is half page. And then forward and back, full page. Okay. Okay. You know, this entire time I've just been mashing 5J, 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 or 5K, 5K, 5K. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Let's just use those personally. Yeah. If it's easier to remember, you know, memory is... Personally, my memory is renowned to be especially trash. But yeah, I'll get working back on this again on Tuesday. So, you know, come check it out then. But hopefully maybe tomorrow I'll just have more time. Maybe I'll work on this in my off time, which I don't usually do, but maybe I will anyways. Because I'm really close to getting at least a beta out for this, so I can work on something else. Because if you're still doing Rust, by the way, check this out. Have you heard of Dioxys? I've been poking at this a little bit. Mostly just running through the tutorial, but it makes sense to me. Yeah. So there's a few things I want to make with this. So I was gonna do that today, but I decided against it. But anyways, I want to try it, but I've been waiting for that mobile stuff to become better. Well, you know. I don't do mobile. Not a concern for me. But anyways, here's a Discord if you want to join that. Here's my GitHub, which is more important. So you can find all my projects there. There is Virtual Puppet Project, VPupper. Look at that. How cool. Give it stars on GitHub. Blah, blah. I stream Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Wednesdays from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Working on various side projects, whatever, when I have time. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Live Tuesday, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Goodbye, I guess. Yeah, Rust is interesting. If I'm a bit more comfortable jumping to Zig than Rust. Yeah, I think Zig is neat as well. I just wish it was a bit more mature. But anyways, goodbye.